What is this?
How you going? I've had this Beyblade sitting in my garage for 2 years now, and
Dude, I remember when I was a kid, I had this fat Beyblade. I called it Yo Mama, and I was like 8 or 7 or something. But we used to put like more stuff, like more metal on our Beyblade, and the hard part about it was to make it so it wouldn't be so weighty that it wouldn't spin anymore, but weighty enough that it would push people away. So we would like tape and like put like more metal parts on top of our Beyblade, and my Beyblade was a fat one, super fat one. Barely anyone could like actually win against it. It was so funny. The funniest part is that it was also electric, so if I wanted to, I could click my button to give it more of a spin, but I never used that because it was so OP. It just would ruin the whole game. And also my Beyblade won anyway, so it didn't really matter.
just can't bring myself to throw it away.
We basically had this water fountain in our playground, and it was like it's in center, so it had like a pretty big play space. So everyone was just playing Beyblade in the water fountain. It was so good, dude.
Mostly
it was so
because
good.
It doesn't fit in my bin, and I don't want the garbage man to judge me. So my solution is to do the most amount of engineering I've ever done and get this thing spinning at almost the speed of sound. So fast that it blows itself apart and everything else around it.
That's terrifying.
And that way, I don't have to throw it away.
That is terrifying.
And if you watched my 2 previous videos in this Beyblade series, you'll know that I hyped it up a lot, but it was actually pretty crap. It didn't go very fast, and I also made it too good, and the Beyblade was very stable, so it didn't move around and destroy enough things. But it turns out there is a pretty easy fix to the stability. I just need to introduce some instability into the Beyblade's life with an opioid addiction, and by also cutting off its leg
with
so
opium addiction,
which makes it walk around more. Okay, now to make it spin faster. And last time I was using a chainsaw winch thing, which worked, but only got it up to like 360 RPM, and I want it to go a lot faster. Like fast enough that the UN is forced to get involved and put sanctions on my house.
I take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction very seriously. I remember the fact that he has invaded 2 countries before. I know for a fact that he's poisoned his own people.
Send in the Beyblades to war.
So how am I going to get it spinning that fast? Well, if we do some basic maths, this motor spins at 2000 RPM, and if we have a 2-to-1 pulley conversion on it, it will spin at 4000 RPM. So if the Beyblade is 92 centimeters wide, at 4000 RPM, the tips of the Beyblade will be traveling at around 700 kilometers per hour.
Yes, indeed.
And if we do some more maths, considering Princess Diana hit that bridge at 100 kilometers per hour, which made news all around the world, 700 kilometers per hour is enough to kill 7 princesses. So it should be pretty impressive at that speed. But before I make the news, I just need to figure out how to attach this motor to the Beyblade, but more importantly, how to get it off. And considering the best thing I could come up with before was a pair of vice grips that released the Beyblade with a piece of string, I'm gonna get someone else to help. Come in.
Hello?
Hey, how you going? My mate, who has a channel called Not an Engineer, but despite the name, is a much better engineer than me. And he also knows how to draw parts on the computer, much better than I do.
So you're
and
telling me he's an engineer?
This cool sketch for us to follow. Now, the first thing we decided to do was take apart the Beyblade. And when I was making this, I definitely compensated for my lack of mechanical skills by using a whole bottle of glue on this thread, and it's now impossible to take apart. So we decided to deal with it later, and instead started boring down this pipe, which will hold the bearings and shaft that spins the Beyblade. And by we, I mean my mate, but first he had to fix my lathe.
This one doesn't even have its little washer. It's not attached. Look.
Alright, so that explains why I was making a funny noise. Alright. And you know what else needs fixing? Your browser, which is why you need to start using Opera GX, the sponsor of today's video. Thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Opera GX is
this is really a boys channel. I'm not gonna lie. He's playing around with very dangerous blades, barefoot, no protection at all, and just going wild with it.
Here's me using Chrome.
He's like every moment a split second of cutting off his limbs. Like hello,
beautiful low numbers,
and with also, Chinese spyware. Yes,
are just so boring. And
thank you, Oprah.
Offers you a lot of really useful mods.
I support Oprah. Oprah is a Norwegian browser. I like this. Kiss Oprah. I should use Oprah GX.
And you also get to hear me asking how you
should use Oprah GX. I think a lot of people like Oprah GX. I heard they open up with a new social media site. It's a good browser. I don't even care about the spyware.
There are so many mods in the GX store that change everything from
like what would I want to hide? True.
And changing over to Opera GX is so easy,
you can look at that.
With an import tool that allows you to quickly import all your settings from your previous browser. All you do is go to browser settings, synchronization, import bookmarks, and import, and you're good to go. My favorite thing about Opera GX is the GX corner, which keeps you up to date with what games are coming out soon. It also tells you what games are on sale and where. It does daily news and more. Wow, Taylor Swift went on a date with an NFL player. And
wow,
also, if you download Opera
care.
GX for free using the link in my description, you will get my personal GX.
My FBI angels like the same hentai as me. Nice.
And upgrade your browser. And while he was doing that, I did the more complicated part.
Can you imagine your job was to work at you spent your entire life in cybersecurity, and now you have to investigate what the people look at, and all you are checking is the browser history of a bunch of degenerates looking at hentai. What a work, what a life, man. What a job. Where can you sign me?
Acquire expertise like tapping these holes and hitting the Beyblade with a hammer.
Don't use Force Dark mode on Opera GX. It fucks with the how e-metal. Oh, really?
And my mate had finished boring the bearing
Force Dark mode. That sounds like a good feature, though.
Fit neatly inside. And there is nothing more satisfying than watching a bearing fit perfectly into a hole. And I'm not even saying this in a sexual way. It's just a great feeling. Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. As you've spread some white liquid all over it and rubs it around.
Move at all. But when it's right, it slides perfectly. And then before you know it, you and your mate are making love.
Hammer it away with your homie.
Okay, then my mate started turning down the shaft that was going to go inside the bearings, while I made the piece that's going to grip and release the Beyblade. And to do that, I'm going to use these little ball bearings.
Can you stop? How many dick jokes are you doing at once? Holy!
I stole from your washing machine while you...
This man is too powerful. This guy doesn't stop. He's just too powerful. What is going on?
Sleeping. So you should probably get that looked at. And the bearings go inside this piece and will grab the top of the Beyblade in the same way as a collet.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Addy. It's not my fault.
Neither do I.
It's his fault.
So you're asking the wrong guy. Next, I drilled 4 holes which are big enough to fit the balls all the way in, but not let them out on the inside of the pipe. Except for this hole, which I made too big.
No! What a balls.
Then I just cut down this threaded rod and welded it onto the piece with the balls. Can't see what I'm doing, and I just welded the clamp to the piece. Which is me done. And in the same time it took me to make this, my mate had finished the entire spinny shaft thing, which I then welded onto a bracket.
Wow.
And then we put it all together. And it spins slowly, but what we really want to know is, does it spin fast enough to cause grievous bodily harm?
You ready?
They're hiding behind a chair. What? Well, I think you gotta run a little bit further than that. It works.
You won't do that with the Beyblade. Yeah.
And that was the maximum speed, which seemed fast, but you can't really tell without the Beyblade on the bottom, which is what we're going to do now. So next I welded up a frame for the motor and arm that hold the Beyblade. And this is all guesswork here, which is why I decided to weld it all permanently in place before checking if the motor even fits onto the frame, which luckily it does, and the spindle as well. Okay, so then we finished off the Beyblade by drilling a hole in the center so a bolt threads inside, and then tested if the Beyblade fits.
Am I pushing it all the way?
Yeah.
Which it
This
does.
is crazy. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Oh, I would be scared as hell if I was in a room with this. Wow.
Kind of just looks like a lawnmower or
A
something.
little bit.
It kind of does, yeah.
And we couldn't resist spinning it up in my garage.
Yep.
Y'all nuts.
Okay.
It's already wobbly. It's quite wobbly.
That's not the shaft though, is it?
No, I think it's a Beyblade. You got it up.
Do you want to go a bit faster?
Yeah.
Can you go? Or I'll go a little bit. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And that was only 5% of its maximum speed, but was already terrifying enough to kick in my fight or flight response and make me use my mate. as a
Only
human shield.
5%
So I can't imagine what I'm going
of
to
its
do
power,
to the people
dude.
around me when the
The Beyblade is the anime protagonist.
Beyblade is going at full speed. Okay, last thing we have to do is make something that is going to hit this pin off the top to release the internal pipe, which means those little balls inside will be able to slip out of the way, releasing the Beyblade. And I was all for just poking it using a big stick, but my mate suggested we use the VFD, which we are using to control the speed of the motor, as it has some inbuilt switches that trigger when the motor reaches a certain speed, which we can plug this solenoid into. So
Smart.
I just welded the solenoid to some metal, and then we made the world's first hexagonal spring.
I've never seen a hexagonal spring.
I'm gonna fall over if you keep doing that.
And put it on the frame. And now the solenoid should pop out, hitting the release pin and knocking it off.
Nice, okay. I believe you now that it happened on camera.
Which it does. But we don't know if the release pin will actually stay on while the motor is spinning at high speed. So we gave it a test behind my not so blast proof blast shield.
Is it gonna fly? Is it gonna fly?
Oh, this is so dangerous. Holy, this is so dangerous. Did it work?
And that is everything working. So I just sprayed it and put on some safety tape to remind us not to go near it while it's spinning.
Is that not enough? Looking at that, is that not enough to remember that you shouldn't be around it while it spins?
Now I just need to find a place to spin this guy up.
Like, the
And last
object
time,
itself
I did
is
it in the
terrifying.
abandoned
Holy.
garage house down the road, and that is still an option as I live close to another abandoned house, but that's also next to a preschool. And this guy is going to be spinning a lot faster, and I don't really think I can rely on walls to stop it. Which is why I asked for your guys' help. And lucky for me, Hamilton must have a death wish, as he hit me up and agreed to let me do the Beyblade on his property. So we put everything in the car, including 4 lady mannequins. And I didn't specifically ask for women, but it was the only thing they had left in the store, besides babies, which I did buy as well, but for a different video.
Have you ever been in a car with this many girls before, Rob? This is incredible. It's making me nervous.
It is also concerning it's only lady ones.
Yeah. I got them second hand, and I was like, it's all they had, and I realized afterwards, I'm like, this doesn't look that good, does it?
And Hamilton's property is perfect. It has one big opening, which the main camera can view all the destruction through. It's got rafters for the Beyblade to hang from, and most importantly, a dead kangaroo. So first we hung up the Beyblade frame, which
What the
was a little wobbly.
Great, because it's an auto vibration absorbing
Yeah,
system.
exactly.
So if there's any...
Why do they have a dead kangaroo? Why don't you remove the dead kangaroo?
A dead kangaroo. So
It's been there
first we
for
hung up the
ages.
Beyblade frame, which was a little wobbly.
Great because it's an auto vibration absorbing
Yeah,
system.
exactly.
So if there's any imbalance in the system, it's not going to matter.
It's self-correcting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then brought in the mannequins.
What if it just
and I couldn't
falls?
stop thinking about that Princess Diana joke I made earlier, so thought it would be appropriate to arrange a little English
tea party, yeah.
for the ladies. And then we put in the Beyblade.
It's what the whole thing is wobbling just from there.
I feel like he's just gonna fall
Because we
down.
thought the Beyblade had a high chance of shattering, we decided to go full speed on the first go.
Might sit against this wall. If I sit against this wall.
Full speed. Dude, they are hidden. Yeah, that's a good call. Just be on the other side of the wall.
It's the weakest pull and then top up.
You happy near the door then?
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Hit and go.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, you ready? Are you ready? Oh, fuck. He's gonna cut everything off.
And I'm not sure what Hamilton was expecting me to do on his property, but I'm sure he didn't imagine he would be cowering behind a single brick wall from a giant Beyblade spinning at almost the speed of sound.
Oh, fuck. He's going faster. This is just 5%. I knew it. He just cut that bitch off. Instantly.
Alright, it definitely worked in a way, as one of the mannequins was in pieces and its leg was out the window. And there was also a good sized chunk missing out of the concrete. But besides that, a lot went wrong. Firstly, we spun the motor the wrong way, so the bolt on top of the Beyblade undid itself and the Beyblade dropped prematurely, only getting up to like 10% of its maximum speed.
10%?
And then also the frame was vibrating so much that the solenoid valve released before the maximum speed, knocking the pins off.
Oh.
So we put it all back together and this time reversed the motor and put in a new bolt and tried again.
We're doing it again.
But if that was 10%, what is 100% then? Oh shit, he's going fast. It's going fast. Oh. Oh. Double kill. I thought it was going actually even louder. Dude, the shit falls down for. Look at that. Look, look. Everything just flies out of the door.
And that time it got a lot faster,
Yeah, it didn't reach
but
the
the
top speed.
solenoid valve still shook itself loose and released the Beyblade at 50% of this maximum speed. Which was
50%?
actually a good thing, as the Beyblade almost made it out the door, smashing the door frame and concrete on the edges.
Imagine if it went out, dude. That was.
Damage here. It tried to get out the door.
So we
Gotta
thought we'd
get
better
your
be safe
boys.
and we put a single brick in the way and did another test, this time with the aim of taking off the table's legs. And this time, I'm not going to play any music or talk. I'll just let you watch the full speed up of the Beyblade.
Oh, they better
because
run.
the noise that it produces when it reaches full speed
Oh.
is absolutely terrifying.
Oh no. Oh no. What the fuck? Sounds like an airplane outside. The table kind of fucked it up. The table kind of fucked it up. Oh, that's so good.
And that was the level of destruction I was looking for. It shot shrapnel past the camera at a ridiculous speed. It almost started a fire.
Almost saw. Oh, it did. Look at that.
Cut deeper gouges into the concrete.
Look at all of the. Look at all of that, dude.
And even cut deeper gouges into the concrete.
All of the smoke coming off the fire, dude. Wow.
And this was the first one that actually got up to full speed. And the noise it was making was absolutely horrible.
It just cuts
And the noise it was making was absolutely horrible.
Jeez. Spin to win, boys.
It sounded like a helicopter that was getting closer and closer. And this is how the Viet Cong must have felt when Americans were flying over the jungles and dropping giant Beyblades from the sky. Also, that run reached full speed at 4,000 RPM, which means the tips of the Beyblade were traveling at 670 kilometers an hour. But I still want the Beyblade to disintegrate itself. So this time, we're going to try dropping it from the height straight onto the concrete.
This is what I want to see. Now we're going to see the big boy. I feel like this Beyblade is nearly going to take down the whole house soon. Like, all the concrete is falling off. One queen left. One princess left.
And it's this bolt which loosened itself from the Beyblade disc. But it still held on and it dropped. And because I couldn't really hear the Beyblade anymore, I decided to go and have a look.
Wow.
And almost walked into the Beyblade still spinning on the ground at 400 kilometers an hour.
It's still going. It never. This is the ultimate Beyblade. It never stops.
Now, even though that wasn't a successful drop, it was really cool looking back on the slow motion footage and seeing the solenoid valve work exactly as we intended, knocking off the pin and releasing the Beyblade while it was doing 4,000 RPM. Okay, we've got time for one more test, and we're going to try and cut this table in half.
This is gonna do it. I just want her to fall over. She's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
40.
And this noise never gets easy to listen to. Every part of your body wants to run away.
It is terrifying. I actually hate when I hear, dude, that fucked up everything. Holy!
That was amazing. Even though it didn't blow up, we spun it fast enough and caused enough destruction to finally allow me to put this Beyblade to rest.
This is the best Beyblade I've ever seen. Wow. It is kind of the sound is kind of uncomfortable. I actually hate when I hear like helicopters and shit like that above me. It is an uncomfortable sound.
I don't want to do anymore. I'm done. I hate that noise.
I also really want to thank my mate, not an engineer, for helping me out with this. And you should go check out and subscribe to his YouTube channel. And also Hamilton for letting me use his property, and his dog for doing more damage to my leg than the actual Beyblade. Thank you so much for watching.
What a good
If you
boy.
like that, please subscribe.
That was
and
such a
watch
good
some of my
video.
other videos.
I love this channel. It's such a boys channel. I'm so glad I found this. This is such a boys channel. It's so funny. We definitely got to watch more of these videos. These are so good. Holy.